Today we're going to go step by step how to mount a tarp motor in the cab shield on this short bed dump truck. And the first step is going to be to find the location for the tarp motor so that we know we have enough room in the cab shield for the tarp to roll up, as well as not having any interference when the tarp is retracted, and make sure the arms aren't in a location where it might interfere with the doors or the operation of the bed itself. At this point, I've decided to mount the motor towards the back of the cab shield, and you can see the holes that were drilled for the motor. The large hole in the center is for the shaft of the motor. The two on the left are for mounting the motor itself, and the one on the right-hand side will also be for mounting the motor. The other two are from a prior system that's been removed. The reason I went towards the back of the cab shield is so that I would have more depth, and I'm getting a lot of sun glare, but have more depth between the bottom of the cab shield and the height of the flange. I didn't want to have the tarp rolling up and potentially rubbing on the bottom of the cab shield. So we moved it towards the back, put it a little bit high on the cab shield, and that should give us plenty of room once the tarp is installed. So here's the view with the motor initially mounted. Just to kind of a test mount right now, I'll be removing it so that it'll be easier to install my roller bar. But I wanted to make sure that it was square at the installation. You can see where the shaft comes through the larger hole. And generally speaking, most manufacturers will send you a template in order to find the hole locations. It makes it easy. In this case, I'm installing an Aero Economy Easy cover, and finding the holes was not too difficult, hole locations. The next step will be to mount the shaft bearing on the passenger side, and our bearing is going to go in approximately this location right here. And what I did prior to drilling the hole, the main hole for the motor shaft on the driver's side, is I took a measurement at the center of that hole. So I have a mark, and it's difficult to see, I don't know if you can pick it up here or not, indicating where I'm going to drill my hole for the shaft bearing. So we're going to mount that, and then the next step will be to measure and cut and install the roller bar. At this point, I have my larger shaft hole cut on the passenger side, and what I'm going to do is hold my bearing centered on the hole. I'm going to mark the location for the mounting holes for the bearing, drill those, mount the bearing, and install the shaft. Might want to mention, or I'd like to mention, that the hole, I used a 1.5 inch hole saw for the main hole. You can go a little bit smaller, maybe 1.25 inches, but you don't want to go any larger, because once you go larger, you're getting out to where the mounting brackets or the mounting holes will be for the bearing. Likewise, if you look over on the motor side, you can see that if you made that hole much larger, you're starting to get maybe interfering with the mounting holes for the motor itself. So 1.5 inches, maybe down to 1.25 inches. I like to go 1.5 inches. It gives me a little bit of play in case I need to make an adjustment once it's all installed. Both holes drilled for my passenger side bearing, which is here. I loosely mounted it for now so that I can size the roller bar, this guy, and then I'll bring it around, secure it, run the stem through the bearing, and lock it down. With this roller bar, which again, this is an Aero system, it is an expandable roller bar, so I can open, not a good shot, I can open and close it to get the proper length from passenger side to driver's side. What I have to do on the driver's side is loosen this bolt here remove it, slide the roller bar over the shaft, and then I'll run that bolt through this hole in the stem right here and secure the roller bar to the stem. I'll then go to this side, slide my bearing over the stem on the passenger side and secure that, and the installation of the roller bar will be complete. So my first step will be to secure the roller bar to the motor shaft. The final couple of steps, I have the roller bar installed, and I'm on the passenger side. You can see the bearings installed, and I leave about a 1/4 inch of the stem extending beyond the bearing, and then you secure it with the set screw right here so the stem is nice and tight in the bearing. And going up to take a look at the roller bar, you can see the inside installation, nice little space right here. You don't want to have the end too close to the flange of the cab shield. Towards the center of the roller bar, you see where I expanded it to get the proper length between passenger and driver side. And the last step here on the roller bar is I will use self-tapping screws like we have here in this hole and this hole to secure and hold the roller bar at the proper width. And as we slide over to the motor mount, the Tarp motor, we have this nice and secured with the 3 bolts. And we have the roller bar secured to the motor stem with a bolt coming through the bar and through a hole that's in the stem. So it's all secured. Next step is to just lock down this center, and the roller bar will be installed. We can move on to installing the arms and the other aspects of this installation. Here's a view of the final installation. You can see the motors in place with the chrome cover, the power conductors to the motor. I have it set up with a drip loop so any water will drip off at the bottom. Make sure you have a drip loop. Roller bar with a tarp connected to it. I have it unrolled the whole way so you can see the roller bar. Arms extended to the rear. And the spring assembly. This is an underbody spring assembly. Good installation. Tarp system works great. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me, Dan Loalbo. My number is 757-615-4379, and we will provide that information at the end of the video as well. Thanks for watching.